talk to you guys about just having the heart of a champion. Tonight's our chocolates and champions night, so we've got lots of great chocolate back there. And she's got a funeral to attend here shortly, so she's going to talk just for a few minutes and just inspire us. So take it away.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Holly, for inviting me to come. Thank you guys for having me tonight. I know I'm a teacher, but I'm kind of been branded as a basketball coach, and that's kind of become my personality and how I describe myself. Ironically, I just retired and resigned from coaching a few weeks ago because I've been doing it for 9 years, and I'm sure Sammy can tell you it's exhausting after a while. So, but I did it because I felt like I had accomplished everything that I intended to accomplish at East Jessamine when I took the job here, and to hear that list of accomplishments makes me wonder what in the world brought me here. And what brought me here, I'm from Bergen, so I'm not too far away.
We're from Harrisburg.
Big city, yeah, big city. Bergen's a metropolis outside of Harrisburg. And so I was approached as a coach that had been in the game for 2 years, and I played at Center College in Danville, so it's not really all that impressive. It means my ACT score was a lot higher than my points per game, but that's okay. And I got approached to come and work at East, and I looked at the first thing you do is you look at the track record, and I realized that in over a decade there had been one winning season, and it was 15-14, so it was just like the skin of your teeth winning season. It's a low-income school. It is a school that was very new because obviously the split had not happened too long ago, and I thought, why in the world would I go there? And I thought about it more, and I thought, why in the world would I not? Because this is the opportunity to build something where there hasn't really been anything before. And that sounded great. And then you dig your heels in and you think, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into, right? And so as someone who played Division III at a school that's way more known for its academics than its athletics, obviously. I didn't get an athletic scholarship. They don't give those in Division III. I learned very quickly that that education is the road to self-improvement, and I've always been a big believer in that. And so one of the very first things I did when I got to East Jessamine was to meet with the basketball team. And I had one that was pregnant and one that was suspended for drugs, and of the remaining 13, 9 of them didn't have any higher than a C on their report card. So that brought a whole new meaning to rebuilding, right? Because now I'm thinking nobody told me what I was really getting myself into. And so I would assume that just like you all in sales and basketball, success comes at the very end. Right? I mean, people don't really see what you're doing until you've developed it, and then it looks easy, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears for years and years and years. And so I had those girls. This was back when they had paper report cards, and they would print them out and bring them to me. And they brought me the report cards, and I'm just like, "You're not practicing. You're not practicing. You're not playing. You're not doing any of this until your grades are where they need to be." And I had parents that were upset with me. You're the basketball coach. Yeah. And I'm raising student athletes, right? And so we cleaned house that way. And the first year I was at East, we were 3-26. You talk about a long year. We didn't even win a game. The last game we won was before Christmas. So we went January, February, and March, and we didn't win a game. And you talk about it was awful. But what we were doing was we were laying the foundation. There were so many young women who I knew had something in them. They were very talented, but they had never been developed. Well, you can't, unless you're Coach Calipari and you have a budget that's bigger than any of us will ever make in a lifetime, you can't, build a program overnight. And so it took years of making sure we had the right people in place and making sure that we all had the same goals and values and that we were all working toward the same end goal. And so after those first couple years that were rough, I think the next year we won maybe 5 games. So we've gotten better. And then as my players that I started to develop were 8th graders and freshmen, they started to get a little bit older. And before you knew it, the list that Holly, rattled off earlier happened. But, that's what people see. People in terms of sales and you all building your enterprise every day. What always pays off is what most people don't ever see you do or don't know the work that you're putting in. because no one knows about those girls that came to me. I had multiple young women whose moms were diagnosed with cancer when they played for me. That's not in the paper. That's not something that we talk about, but they come to me and they talk to me about it. Had several people lose family members, while they were playing for me, and there were some tough times. There were some young women that I coached that, needed a place to go, and there was more than one. And so it's building those relationships with them, and the reason that they played their butts off for me, and that one right there would run right through that wall if I told her to. And the reason that they did that is because they trusted me. And I built a relationship with them, and I believed in them, and I proved to them that I would be there for them, whether they were 5 and 26 or 26 and 5. And so through the next 4 years after that initial jump start, we broke the record for wins in a season. We broke the records for wins in the season again. We tied it again the next year. We would have beaten it, but we got snowed out the last 3 games, which is annoying to me. But you can tell I'm a competitor because I'm still bitter about it. And then this year, our goal was, we called it the trip to 20. We wanted to be the first basketball team to win 20 games in a season. And we exceeded it. We actually won 23 games. And through all of that, the young women that I say I raised them, but when you're a coach, you don't clock in and out. I mean, they're like your kids. And I helped raise, and all of them went to college, and several of them played other sports. I had a few who have played basketball, and basketball is the vehicle to get these kids to where they want to be. Much like I'm sure that Mary Kay is the vehicle to get you all where you want to be. And so if there's any advice I can give you as a woman who lives to empower other women, especially young ones, it's that even when I told my players when I resigned this year that the times that they will remember are the best times. Your big sales, the big parties that you have, and the big successes that you reach. But what will define them, even though it might not make the conversations of the highlights of your career, are all those times that they were working tirelessly to be better and to build relationships with people and to be there for people when they needed you. Just because it's the right thing to do, that's what makes you good at what you do. And no matter what field you're in, obviously that's going to pull people towards you. And so the more magnetic you can be with giving to others and putting others first and really helping people to believe that you're there for them will always lead the way. And so I love sports and I love basketball, and I'm a competitor, and my bracket is blowing all this other brackets right now. That's another story. I think the only person that's still in it's got to be from Murfreesboro. Filled out that MTSU would beat Michigan State. But as much as a competitor as I am, I value the work that women do. I actually believe in it so much, and Holly probably know this, but I started a nonprofit that in my spare time, I'm not coaching, that is for college women. And it's called Lead Kentucky. And our goal is to recruit and train the best and brightest college women in the state of Kentucky and train them to be our Commonwealth's next generation of leaders. Because I'm a government teacher, so I follow politics and all that kind of stuff. And I look around and I see boards that have no women on them. I see CEO, the top CEOs. You don't see very many women. Holly was telling me about Mary Kay and how Mary Kay was the top woman and Ford was the top man CEO. And I said, well, Mary Kay didn't have to be bailed out by the government, so I guess she wins. And so, empowering women and bringing them along with you and helping them to be better, regardless of what field it is something that I'm very, very passionate about. And I was able to do that through sports with young women, and now I hope to do it. I have a little bit more time on my hands now to take Lead Kentucky a little bit further, but just to teach women that you can do anything. And I get a hard time, and will tell you I'm always the first one to knock out and be asleep in the car, or like my head hits the pillow and I'm out because it's just whatever. But I saw an article the other day that said that women multitask so much more during the day that they need more sleep, and I was like, see guys.
Can you say that again to record this?
I sent it to my husband. I'm like, just so you know, just so you see it, there's scientific research on this. But you know, any business that empowers women, especially when you can make women feel beautiful and empowered, that's the bonus points, right? So I'm just thankful that Holly invited me today. And if I would have ever thought that, you know, 7 years ago when I took the job at East Jessamine, that I would have ever been considered for anything called the Heart of the Champion with our pitiful 3-26 record and all of our C's, D's, and F's, I would have been shocked. But it's just proof that, you know, hard work and resilience. I always say resilience and grit are the two ingredients to success that so many people overlook because they're not flashy, right? It's like when you're mired in muck and just a mess, and you're like, I'm gonna beat this, and I'm gonna get through this, you know, no matter what. And that's what makes people great. And I think as women, they can call us hard-headed all they want, but I think we're a little bit more determined and don't like to let things fall through the cracks. I think it's easily like to finish the job. So.
We got a gift for you. We want to thank you so much for coming. Are y'all so glad that you've been blessed with her tonight? Thank you. Thank you. Of course, Mary Kay Products is here. And I would love for you to just take a second and introduce. You brought one of your head players with you.
Yes.
This gorgeous girl, you guys, just has gone Division I basketball. She is a senior, and so she's going to brag on her just a little bit. But I'd love to bring Miss Emma up. So Emma, come on up. Let's give her a big hand.
She just got out of track practice, but she got her makeup done back there. Emma is the best basketball player that's ever come through East Jessamine, boys or girls. She's the leading scorer of all time. She's the only player that's ever made it to the 2,000-point club, and she's actually the career assist leader as well. So you know, if she's not scoring, she's helping someone else. And this kid is the epitome of resilience and has overcome a lot. She will be the first person in her family to graduate from high school.
Wow.
And we'll do it with honors. And we'll go play Division I basketball. She's going to Texas A&M at Corpus Christi, which the campus is on an island.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, well, that's a tough one.
That's a hard.
You might have to stock up on some sunscreen, I guess, before we go down. But yes, so she's the epitome of resilience and grit. So it's fitting that she's here.
Emma, I would love for you just to share what this woman has done for you. I mean, I know the list goes on and on, but we got to brag on her a little bit because she's just given so much of her tonight for us.
Okay, I'll try not to cry this. So I moved here as a freshman, and I like she said, I was a mess, and I was one of those players. I needed somewhere to go, and I'm going to cry.
Don't all cry with you.
Okay. So
They're already
I needed somewhere to go, and she was the one that I went to, and I didn't really know her. I had no idea who she was. All I knew is her name was Jacqueline Coleman, and she didn't change her name for her husband. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. So I went to her, and I told her that I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was going to have to live back with my mother. And my mother's not the best person in the entire world. If you walked into her house, you'd probably it's just not a good place to be. So I told her that I'd move back with her, and she was like, well, let me come down there and figure it out. So I didn't know her, and she came down to Garrett County. My mom's from Garrett County. So she came down there, and as soon as you walked in my mother's house, you knew it was a crack house. It was that vicious. And as me, I obviously didn't notice what was happening and what was developing and what was going on. So I always stayed at a friend's house. But when I got to her, she gave me some long nights at the table and some screaming and some no phone, no TV. He wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I actually came to her house with a 1.1 GPA. So to be able to graduate with honors is a big deal. So that's a 3.5. So I've actually gone up a little bit, and I've tripled my ACT score.
Wow.
So obviously, you guys obviously know how, just hearing that, how much she means to me, and what she, the figure that I grow is on her. So, she means more to me than probably my real mom, honestly. So
she's been a huge blessing.
yeah. So and she's helped me get it like without the like say I didn't have all the awards and all that stuff. I wouldn't have got those awards if it wasn't for her and like how much she yelled at me in practice. How many times I punched the floor, how many times I screamed back at her to get to the point that I am, and to be a leader to the younger girls that were on our team, and to be the person that I would want to be. Like, obviously I'm not finished yet because I haven't graduated from college. That's my next goal. So, so I don't know. There's a lot of like, I don't really know how to say this. There's a lot of like connection here, and you know. And you have to have that person.
You pick your family.
Yeah,
You know?
so
it doesn't have to be by blood.
so and
That's
how
your
much
family.
and how much grief I've gotten from my mother and you know all those people, you know, from my mom's side, how they're jealous and how they like don't understand, but they won't understand how she is without going through the things that I had to go through at the kitchen table to get there. So I mean, I couldn't do it without her. So
this is a
big
leader with
deal.
a heart, and so
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you some time from your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, so that you know just how much you meant to her. And it's been an honor and pleasure watching you guys this year. And Sammy and I go to almost all the games. Like, we're at almost every game. We love basketball. He played basketball. I love it. I fuss at the refs a lot, but I love it. And you guys, I mean, this girl diving after balls and just never gets it. Puts her heart over the line the entire time. And I just was watching all, and of course, I knew what a big influence that Jacqueline had on her, and I'm so glad you guys came. I'd love for y'all to come back again. We do all kinds of fun stuff here. So y'all can come back anytime. I know y'all got to get to a funeral, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But I would love for you guys to give her a big hand for coming.